And we're live.
Is your mic recording? I know we've had problems with this.
No, my mic is definitely recording.
We got a hot mic. Welcome back, everybody, to the One's Ready podcast. And we're back. We're live. I want to do it like a terrestrial radio show where it's like, now you're talking to Chico and the Slide. Like, I don't know.
Well, that was Trent at the TACP Roundup.
100%.
And we're back.
But seriously, we are back. ATA day 2. We're just sitting here, getting some recording in, talking about some AMC stuff. What did we learn from day 1?
Well, we learned that even if you ops check your stuff, you still need to ops check it again and again and again. It's very much like the old safety on an M4. You're always kind of caressing that thing because you're always double checking that it's in the safe position.
It has to be in the safe position. That safety's got to be, and the dust cover has to be closed, and it's a constant check.
Yep.
So you're saying if it's not pre-flighted, if it's not, a post-flight isn't a pre-flight, is that what you're saying?
That's what I think.
That's patch terminology. That's what it is. I had to make you feel good about it. So stuff, kind of like recap from day 1. It was awesome. We got to see a whole bunch of people get some well-deserved recognition. Like, that was pretty humbling just to see the amount of folks that were getting their awards specifically for some of the Operation Allies refuge stuff, some of the fallout of HKIA, and just to see people actually get, and from all AFSE. So it wasn't just flyers. It was, Phoenix Ravens. It was medical folks on the ground. To hear some of those citations. Crew chiefs. Yeah. To hear some of those citations to some of the things that were done. Like, it's just one of those humbling things. We always, kind of focus down and in on what it is that we do. And it's really humbling to hear other people that have just stepped up in time of need to go do that stuff.
Yeah. And, we talked to Voodoo about it a couple months back and just kind of listening to her story and everything that she went through. That was humbling alone.
Yeah.
Just having her here, having, I think it was like 26 orphans handed to her and signed off and having to keep flying just in a pattern work, getting aerial refueled just because it's much cooler and easier for the aircraft at altitude to be able to keep the AC on when it's August.
Right. In Afghanistan, right.
In Afghanistan, IUD and stuff like that. So
it's hot. You have 700 people on board in a metal tube, just the worst possible.
Using the lavatory floor as a kitty litter tray.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Just get out of here. Yeah. The stories that we've been able to hear too, like the other thing that the unintended consequence of this is just having conversations with people. Ran into a guy that, I worked with up at the 2-2, and he was telling me just wild stories of stuff that's gone on. And really the thing that came out of the story, it wasn't just that it was an awesome story to hear, but the service that those folks provided during the entire event. Like it's easy to get, hyper focused on, the politics of the event or, success or failure or some of the other narratives that are involved in it. But when it came down to it, it's just your average, guy, girl in the Air Force just putting out for service.
Well, they're putting in work.
Yeah, doing work. Yeah,
they saw that something needed to be done. It doesn't matter whether that was their Air Force specialty code, their job, whatever.
Yeah,
things needed to get done, and so you do it, regardless of what the AFI or the Air Force instruction, says. Like we've said it before, those are kind of guide rails and the points of departure. You do what's right. You have commander's intent, mission intent, and you get after it because that's what needs to get done.
Yeah,
and you're right. And so kudos to General Minihan, the air mobility staff, because not only did they recognize all the folks that put in great work doing OAR, but also the folks because there's a timeline associated with all those medals. And they had to scramble to meet that. And then so that their staff, their A1 staff that ended up just honchoing all that stuff, long hours.
I think they said something like more than 1,000 decorations that they had to process, like more than 1,000 people that they want to recognize.
That's nuts.
That is insane. And it's on a short timeline, again, because it has an expiration date, and a lot of it is tied to, what General Minihan can do from his level and what authority he has and how fast that he can do it. And, I think he said it in his remarks last night. He said, it's not going to be perfect, but I can make it better. I think that's great to hear a senior leader say. It's like, hey, I accept that this wasn't the perfect thing that we wanted to happen, but I can make it better, and I can continue to actually push forward and get some of this stuff done.
And that's the thing, and that's why I think that the transparency, the open, honest transparency that's where it's key. And you know, it's as critical as you want to be about senior leaders. Not every senior leader is created equal, and the messaging, and not every, and all that to say, like, even between the three of us, we have different ways of communication.
For sure, yeah.
Some, we have weak areas, we have strong areas. That's the same with all the senior leaders, whether it's, you know, Chief Master of the Air Force Bass, you know, SEAC, CZ that's recently retired, General Bauerfein, like all the way up, all the way through. Sometimes there's weak areas, sometimes there's strong areas, and we communicate differently. So having that open, honest transparency, it was nice to see.
And I will say, to his credit too, the one thing that I've noticed that he does well, if we're talking about like the you know, all senior leaders are not created equal, something that he's done really, really well is that he completely bypasses his staff on messaging and will come directly to you and talk to you. We were, you know, chatting yesterday, and he mentioned an outreach program. He's like, "Hey, Aaron, you want to go to this thing?" And I was like, maybe, sure. Like, if I'm the right guy, like, I'll go to it. I'm not going to turn you down. You're a 4-star general. Like, I think I'm obligated to tell you yes, sir, and, you know, go do.
3 bags full and I'm out.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I can do that pretty quickly. But the thing that struck me about it is he literally was just like, "Oh yeah, just send me a note." He didn't hit my exec up. He didn't say go to my staff. He said, "Oh yeah, okay, we've communicated about this. We're going to move on. I've made this decision and we're going to go." And he does that really frequently. And I think that's one thing that good senior leaders do. When you see them communicate, they're willing to eliminate those unnecessary buffers, because they all have them.
Oh yeah.
Staff and A3. And, you know, sometimes, you know, when you talk about going to, you know, a truly political, and I don't mean that in a bad sense, but a truly political position like the SEAC, like the SIMSAP, like those positions are by definition, like they are public figures.
Yes, they are.
So they have entire staffs of people that help them with messaging, entire staffs of people that give them, you know, left and right limits, or give them their input. And the really good ones sometimes just put it, and you see CZ do it a bunch of times. Like, to his credit, when he was a SEAC, he's like, "All right, tight, whether it's on a text chain or whether it's, you know, from public messaging standpoint, I'm just going to remove all this stuff and I'm going to say some true things and we're going to go from there."
Yeah. Well, that's one of the reasons why it took us so long to get CZ on.
Yeah.
It's because him and I were messaging back and forth on LinkedIn, and he's like, "Yeah, hit this person up, hit this person up." And I'm just a normal person.
I'm just a bro, dude.
Just like hitting his people up. They were like, "Hey, I swear I'm talking to CZ. I swear he said to hit you up directly." Yeah, okay, sure, buddy, sure, whatever. right. And then
giving you the big time, he's big timing you.
Yeah. But that also drives, like, to General Minihan's credit, that's awesome. I guarantee it drives his staff
insane.
Nuts.
It's got to absolutely insane.
I'm sorry, you did what?
You did what now?
Oh,
and they're just constantly on their heels. Be like, "Okay, well, I'll just change the entire schedule then."
The one of the things that we did at weapons school. So he came out he gave us 3 days of weapons school, which that's unheard of.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
So he went out with his C-17 guys, some C-130 guys, and then we had JTACs on the back. And they flew into Texas Lake, which is a massive dry lake bed, and they landed. Well, because it's during weapons school integration, there are threats, you know, not just in the air, but then the surface. And so some surface-to-surface threats were inbound. They didn't have time to load him up. So they actually flushed the airfield and left him on the ground with the JTACs for about 4 hours.
Let's go.
Just like kind of,
"Hey, sir.
Well, this was not part of the plan, but we also weren't expecting you to get off the plane either." So,
you know? Yeah. If you want to audible, you want to audible. And, you know, you saw it when General Minihan, he did the historically black colleges and universities tour that was ran out. It was 111 cadets that they ended up transporting, and ended at Joint Base Charleston, where they did the Accelerating the Legacy event. Huge event, went off, you know, whatever. But it was funny, like, watching the planning. I was involved in the planning of that whole thing. But, you know, Minnie would just be like, "Oh yeah, no, I'll definitely link up with you here, and then I'll be on, and yeah, if it's cool, like, I'll just go ahead and fly it as well." And, like, literally everybody's like, "Whoa, hold on!" Like, it went from whoa to wow right away, just because he was willing to be engaged and willing to be involved.
He's got a bandolier full of frags. He's just
let's go. Let's see what I can do. Yeah, whether it's, you know, with his wife that we were talking to Miss Ashley yesterday, whether it's buying another old pickup truck that she doesn't want to have.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, whatever.
Yeah.
How you doing? And that's a live update from Lieutenant Stewart. We're actually recording right now. Yeah. got it. Got it.
I actually do music. We record music videos. So I have a band called First Time Free.
Okay.
These guys are all older than me. They're like 25 years. They were going in the Navy when I was 4 years. But I linked up with one of my PAs. He found out I was a senior musician, and they had this cover done, Hunker Like the Wolf. So they're older. They do a lot of older music. And they couldn't find a vocalist, and they asked me, they were like, "Hey, we've had this song done. We just need someone to sing the lyrics."
So you do vocals?
Nice.
So
That's challenging.
it is. And I enjoy it. So yeah, then I did the vocals, and they're like, they're like,
We just hold that. We're legitimately recording. Like we're not.
really?
I'm not.
No, you're
joking.
good.
That was not.
Hold
That
on
was
to
not, that was not a joke. But now we're talking.
Okay.
To you, so what's up?
yeah. So they needed me
Hold
to
it
do.
up a little bit more.
They wanted me to do the vocals, and so after I did them and we recorded and mastered everything, they were like, "Hang on," they were like, "We've got something good here." So we've done several covers. We also started doing music videos. We're branching away from 80s because my style of music is a little more alternative, grungier.
You seem like a new metal guy to me.
Yeah, I like a full range of music. So I mean, even like rock, country, hip hop, like I like it all. I have an appreciation for it. I grew up in a family with a very diverse musical background, all the way from Christian music and you name it. So I spent a lot of time as a young kid, sitting in the corner of my living room, my stepdad's band was jamming out.
So we're talking like Stone Temple Pilots, or
Yeah, STP, Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
So as the vocalist, I'm trying to move these guys more in that direction. So just last 2 weeks ago, we finished a cover, Shimmer by Fuel.
Yeah.
So and
Fuel's good.
and we're working on the music video. So the challenges with us though, is these guys got together around COVID. Everybody was doing virtual, separated. So we're geographically separated. 3 of the guys live in the
We
DC.
can relate.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
3 of the guys live in the DC, Virginia area. They're contractors. 2 of them are contractors. Steve, I can't remember exactly what he does. But so really, essentially, it's no different than a band who's playing together, because you're going to layer all of your tracks, in a system, in a program, and it works out, and it's a lot of fun. And so we'll do the music video coming up here in the next few weeks.
Yeah. What's the name of the band, and where can we find it?
First Time Free Band. So we're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, you name it. We have a Facebook page. Getting ready to develop an Instagram. We have a huge following overseas.
Okay.
Well, I say huge. It's huge to me.
Well,
but
and it's 80s too, and European. I'm assuming Europe.
yeah.
Yeah. Europe loves 80s.
Yep. So
Can't get enough of Duran Duran, David Bowie.
Yeah.
They're all.
yeah, we actually got featured on Music Crowns. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with Music Crowns, but it's a big overseas. Actually, it's global, but yeah, it's great.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, we'll shout that out, and yeah, you guys go ahead and start that Instagram, and we'll get it. Oh, we'll help out. We'll pop.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So since we're sitting down with you, then, like, where are you from, and did you always want to kind of join the Air Force?
Yeah, so I'm from Ocean Isle Beach, North Carolina. My dad was in law enforcement. He was prior Army. He was Army in Vietnam, even though he didn't go to Vietnam. But during that time period, my grandfather was Army. He was in the Korean War. Honestly, I took the year off after high school kind of deal. I did landscaping and flooring and hated it. And I always say I kind of got lucky. Got a lot of friends that you get so lucky. Went and talked to the recruiter, got depped in, and I shipped out. And it's been a blast so far. So my background's F-16 crew chief.
Nice.
So I started out my career at Shaw. I was at Shaw for about 13 years. Went to OSAN. Went back to Shaw. I was an FTD instructor, so I spent 4 years teaching basic to advanced F-16 theory of operation, troubleshooting. And then after that, I got picked up to be an MTI. My functional denied it. I went back across the street. I put in my OTS package at probably about 15 years, 15 and a half years. And actually, it was about 14 years. But anyway, finished out as a pro super at Luke Air Force Base with the 310th Fighter Squadron AMU. And then went back to Luke as a PA. So I had all the networking. I knew a lot of maintainers and guys on the op side. And so here I am.
Did you want to go PA? Like when did that move happen?
Yeah, so for PA, it actually was number 3 on my non-rated list. So I got picked up to be an RPA pilot, and then I couldn't pass the medical.
Okay.
So they gave me 2 options between Missileer or PA, and I chose PA.
Smart.
So
yeah, smart. Yeah, because you avoided Minot. That's what happened right there.
Yeah. Well, I had 2 friends, one on the O side, one on the E side, who were missiles.
Yeah.
Master Sergeant Holt's calling me. Chief
okay.
Beth.
Well, all right. Well, we're out here. Appreciate you joining us.